Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. A very happy Valentine's Day to you all. In celebration, I have a fun video for you guys today. We're gonna be doing a Valentine's Day themed makeup look using some of my very favorite high-end makeup products. If there ever was a time to use all your best high-end makeup products, it's on Valentine's Day. I do have one exception. The eyeshadow palette we'll be using is not technically high-end, but it's as good as any high-end palette. It is one of my favorites. So I am very excited. I've got some great makeup here. Lots of pink and mauve tones, a lipstick I don't think I've ever shown you guys before. That's very, very bougie. So I hope you guys are excited about it. Before we get to the video, a special welcome to any of my new visitors. Very happy to have you here. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave. With that said, we have got a lot of makeup to put on, so let's jump right into it. All right, so I'm feeling like mixing everything up today. We're gonna start off with the eyes because while the tones we're using are not very bold or anything like that, I really wanna do like a smokier kind of pink, but very smoky look today. So we're gonna start off by priming my eyelids with my concealer. I have my Kosas concealer right here. This one is in the shade 3.2. I'm just gonna use a little bit of this as my eyeshadow primer today. And I just realized I forgot to bring up a setting powder. So we'll probably jump straight into the eyeshadow and just use my eyeshadow to kind of set down my concealer. My eyes look a little bit red and raw today. It's because they are. Had a bit of a mishap yesterday with the K-Beauty mascara that I tried out recently, if you happen to see that video. All right, I'm gonna zoom you guys in, then we'll get started with the eyes. Because today we're gonna be using my Juvia's Place The Deuce palette. If you happen to see my favorite Valentine's Day eyeshadow palettes video recently, I talked about how this is not only one of my favorite Valentine's Day and springtime palettes, but really one of my favorite palettes of all time, and definitely one of my favorites from Juvia's Place. It has sadly been discontinued, which I think is such a tragedy, but I know there are a lot of you that still have and love this palette. So before my concealer starts to crease, I want to jump in with this shade right here, which is kind of like it's almost my skin tone, maybe a little bit darker than my skin tone, which I'd say I'm a solid, just like light skin tone. I wouldn't call myself fair, nor would I call myself medium. So I'm kind of just putting this everywhere. This is pretty undetectable on me. It might, if I really build it up, give me a tiny bit of definition through my crease, but it would probably act more as like a highlight for those of you with more medium to deep skin tones, and a pretty good transition shade for those of you that have very porcelain skin. But we're gonna start off with this one and just kind of loosely build that up above my crease. All right, we're gonna jump into this kind of Pepto pink right here. I love this pink. It's a really soft pink. I'm taking that on my Refer number 16 brush, and we're going to put this slightly at and above my crease. I'm gonna do a couple layers of this shade because it is pretty soft. On the fence today if I want to do the fuchsia or if I want to do the kind of rusty rose color right there. I love both those colors, but I feel like I need to pick one or the other because they don't really go together. Each of them go with the other shades in the palette, but they don't really go together per se. So I really want to take this pink out kind of far, and I'll worry about cleaning things up a little bit later. All right, now let's see. Actually, I think I do want to go with the fuchsia today. So I'm going to take that same brush. We're going to dip just the tip of it into the fuchsia, tap off the excess, and then this I'm going to build up right in my socket, kind of quite a bit. I want this to be pretty strong, but not very diffused. I want it to look almost like a nice bright pink line. A little bit more harsh than I typically go, because I am going to come back and kind of build up some smokiness in the outer corner with the dark brown. Okay, so now that the initial layer of fuchsia is down, I'm gonna go in with my number 2 kind of dense smudge brush. We're gonna take that same fuchsia shade and build it up in the brush, and this I'm actually going to draw across right in my crease, so I have a little bit more pigment directly there in my crease. It's almost gonna give me the subtle appearance of like a cut crease without actually doing a cut crease. Now jumping over to the dark brown, I'm taking my number 14 brush, just this tiny little blending brush. We're going to tap that onto the tip of the brush, and we're gonna start smoking out this outer corner. Starting at the lash line, and then just pulling slightly up. I feel like I'm flying blind today. My mirror and my monitor, which I'm sorry if you guys, the monitor's right below the lens, so if it looks like I'm like not looking directly at you, because my monitor's in a different place today, and I don't know, I feel like I can't really see my eyes from this far away. So I hope this one turns out. Not too worried about what this outer corner looks like yet, because we will come back and do the lower lash line, kind of clean up the shape a little bit later. So I know this video is going up on Valentine's Day. It's actually Friday before Valentine's Day that I'm filming it. And normally my husband and I go out to lunch on Fridays, but he is at a work luncheon today, so I told my son I would pick him up and we would go to Cut Bop. Have you guys been to Cut Bop? I just tried out Cut Bop for the first time recently and I loved it. And my now 15-year-old son loves like Asian food, Chinese food, anything like Oriental, he is all about. So I think he's gonna love it. So this will technically be my Cut Bop date look today that I might recreate on Monday. Okay, I like that so far. So for the lid, ooh, I can't decide between the duochrome or just the traditional kind of icy pink. I feel like we gotta go for that duochrome. It has this beautiful blue kind of magenta shift that I think is gonna pair beautifully with that magenta and that brown. So let's jump in with that one. Just gonna use my finger initially, and then I might come back and use a flat shading brush to kind of get a little bit more on my inner corner. If I try to do that with my finger, it just ends up making a big mess, especially with longer nails like this. Okay, so I'm gonna take my Rephr number 21, just like a flat kind of concealer type brush. I'm gonna go back to that same shade. It's this one right by the brown. Then I'm gonna take it right on this inner corner. Oh yeah, there we go. This color definitely makes it more bold and colorful because of the iridescence. If you don't like that, if you want something a little bit more neutral, especially with the bold crease, I think this would probably be a better one to go with, but I think it's kind of fun, so. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to that small blending brush. There's nothing left on here. I just want to run it back along where I put that matte brown down to make sure that I have a good blend right there. Moving on to the face, we will be back to do the lower lash line, but let's go with a little bit of primer. Today I'm gonna take my Smashbox Primerizer. I've been really into this primer again recently. This is one that has very slowly been growing on me. I've always liked it, but it's grown on me more and more over the last couple of years. And I've actually found a couple of drugstore alternatives to this one, but some of them have been discontinued, which is very, very sad, including the one from Catrice. That was probably the closest one. The Hydra, I just want to call it the Aqua Fresh primer, the one that came in the blue bottle. I know a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about because so many people compared that to the Smashbox. Moving over to foundation, I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. I used this just a couple of days ago after, I haven't reached for this one for a couple of months, so when I used it a few days ago, I was just reminded of how beautiful this foundation is on the skin and how perfect the shade matches for me, which is always such a bonus. It's something I tend to have better luck with high-end foundations with. I feel like the undertones of high-end foundations tend to be, I think it's generally just because they usually have a better shade range, like a lot more undertones in the different shades that they offer. So I tend to have more luck with my shade picks with high-end foundations. But that was about 2 solid pumps, and I am using a pretty damp sponge today. But I love the look and finish of this foundation. I think it's so beautiful. Okay, very nice. Let's move on to some concealer. As I mentioned before, I have my Kosas concealer here today. I have 2 shades, the shades 3.2 and 4.0. Let's start with the shade 4.0. This one we're gonna use on the perimeter of my face, on any acne marks, sunspots, active breakouts that I have. I do have a couple right now, and I've been trying out so many face products recently, you guys, that I'm not 100% sure what's causing it. I suspect it might be the Milani Glow Foundation or Glow Skin Tint, is that what it's called? Which would be very sad because I do really like that skin tint. Now this is the shade 3.2 I'm gonna use on my under eye. A little bit right there, and a little bit kind of on the sides of my nose and down. The center is like a highlight. This one is just a little bit lighter. Back to my sponge. Start blending out my perimeter first. Okay, skin looks incredible. I'm gonna jump right into my bronzer. Today we're using a cream bronzer. I'm gonna take my Fenty Butter Biscuit cream bronzer, one of my very faves. And I wanna try a different brush with this one today. I have this Rephr number 17 brush that they sent me several months ago, and I just have not found a lot to use this with. It's kind of, do you guys remember the old e.l.f. brushes that were flat at the top that people raved about as like foundation brushes? I mean, this was like 10 years ago on YouTube. This kind of reminds me of that, but a smaller version, natural bristles. So we're gonna use this with my Fenty bronzer and just see how it goes. Oh yes, love it. Okay, that actually worked really well. I think that looks really nice. Okay, let's add some blush next. And I really wanted to use another Sydney Grace blush today. So I have them in this little, it's actually a really old Coastal Scents tray. So these are the two blushes that I recently picked up from Sydney Grace. I have Peaches and Cream and Mauve Delight. I also have this one from Sydney Grace. This is Flower Crown. I don't know that they still sell this one. Today, I think I'm gonna mix these two together. This looks a lot like Mauve Delight, only a little bit more of like a satiny kind of slightly shimmery finish. So I'm gonna mix those two together today and just see how those look. I feel like this color is gonna look great with this eye look because it is a little bit more cool tone, kind of mauve as the name would imply. So pretty. I've been loving this blush for, I've only had it for about 4 days now, but big fan. Beautiful. My skin is so dewy today. Looks really pretty though. Ooh, that's beautiful. It's Valentine's Day. Let's go heavy on the blush. I kind of like to go a little more heavy on the blush and then come back in with my sponge and kind of tap out some of the edges. It just tends to make your blush look a little bit more, I don't know, like diffused and natural, but still there. Because sometimes I find if I'm too light-handed with my blush, almost like it tends to disappear. So I kind of like to have one area where it's like really strong and then just really slowly diffuses out to nothing. That way it looks like you have blush on, but it's not, it's only too much in like one little spot. I don't know. Don't you guys think that makes a difference? I feel like I can tell a difference, but maybe it's all just in my head. So let's also, for highlighter, we're gonna also use the Sydney Grace highlighters because I did not bring another highlighter up, and I do really love these. So these are my 3 highlighters from Sydney Grace. Let me just tell you guys what they are. I don't know if all of these are available. I have Ancient History, which is kind of a gold. I have Majestic, which is kind of an icy pink, and then more of a champagne. Darker pink, I have Swinging Vines. Let me just give them each a finger swatch for you guys. So here they are right there. I have the gold, the kind of icy pink, and then the deeper, more champagne pink right there. So today I want to use a mix of these 2 pinks right there. So I'm just going to take those on my Luxie highlighter brush. And I feel like these are really going to pop on my dewy skin. My skin is so dewy today, you guys, which I'm not complaining about. That might sound like I'm complaining. I'm definitely not. I like when my skin's nice and dewy. Probably go downstairs later though and powder the center of my, right between my eyebrows and my forehead, because I do get some strong settling in those lines. And I'm actually gonna go back to the Rough No. 2 brush, my smudge brush. We're gonna dip into the icier pink right here, and I wanna use this just right under my brow bone. This is not something I do very often, but I feel like it's gonna go well with this look today. All right, there we have it. That looks great. Let's move on to the eyebrows. So first I wanna pop a little bit of my e.l.f. wax in my brows. I want to give them a really good shape today. I have a lot of brow products we're going to be mixing together today. For my pencil, I'm going to go back in with my Pony Effect pencil. I got this just a few days ago in my Yes Style order. This pencil feels so high-end, you guys. It feels very fancy. It looks and feels very fancy for a $5 pencil. Well, I don't know if it was 5, it might have been 7. It was under 10 for sure. And I really like it. I like the shade of it as well. It goes with my darker roots. Been kind of digging a slightly darker brow lately. I think especially with this smoky eye. That might not seem that smoky yet, but we are gonna do a pretty strong wing, and I'll probably come and build up a little more smokiness in the outer corner when we do my lower lash line. I feel like I'm always saying I'm gonna do a really smoky eye, and you guys probably come away thinking, really, Mandy? That looks like every other eye look you've ever done. I don't know. I try my best. And by the way, this brow pencil is in the shade Natural Brown, and I did get this on Yes Style. I don't know if I mentioned that. Okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit of my ABH Brow Freeze. We're gonna run some of this through my brows. Then I'm also gonna set them down with a little bit of a brow gel that I also got from Yes Style recently. So we are going all in the brows today. 4 products in my brows. Perhaps a little bit overkill, but we're just gonna try it today. I want these brows to look amazing. Now to the brow gel. This is the Etude House Bare Edge Brow Fixer. I'm kind of loving this stuff. I've only had it for about 4 days now, so I've only used it a few times, but I really like what this does for my brows. It's very, very slightly tinted, but it's more clear than tinted. I don't know. All right, brows are finished. I feel like they look amazing. Let's finish off the eyes. So back to the Deuce palette, we're gonna take a little bit of that initial Pepto Pink on my smudge brush. It's the Rephr number 2. I'm going to run that under my lower lash line, just about halfway in. Okay, now I'm gonna go into a tiny bit of the fuchsia, just on the very, very tip, tiniest amount. We're gonna run this right under the outer third of my lower lash line, just to tie a little bit of that color down below. Not too much. This is definitely a color on me that can make me look quite sickly if I put it on my lower lash line, but a little bit I think will give just the perfect effect. Same brush again, back to the matte brown. Same thing, just on the very most tip. We're gonna start this one kind of right where like I'd put a wing, and then slightly pull it down below, and also across the top. So this is really kind of giving us the smokiness and the shape right there. Just a tiny bit more of that dark brown. I just want to smoke out my upper lash line just a little bit more before I go on top with a gel liner. Okay, now I think we're about good. How's that look? Let's take my inner corner brush. This is the number 3, and we're gonna take that same duochrome that I have on my lid. We're gonna pop just a little bit of that on the inner corner. I want a little bit of that down below, right on that tear duct. All right, now I'm gonna add some gel liner. I'm gonna do a wing with this is my Natasha Denona Workin' Set black liner. I'm gonna apply that just to the upper lash line with a little baby wing right there. Then add a couple of coats of my Power Up Mascara from Butter London. I'll be right back to show you guys the final look. All right, here are the finished eyes. I am loving this eye look today, you guys. I love that pink through the crease. I love that blue tone. It gives you this like, the pink combined with the blue toned iridescent, and that brown in the outer corner gives you like a strong purple nod. So last we're gonna finish things off with the lips. So we're gonna start off with my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip liner. I'm just gonna overline the center of my bottom and top lip with this. Man, these lip liners are pricey, but they are far superior to any lip liner, any other lip liner that I have tried. Then for my lipstick, I have this lipstick right here. This is from Pat McGrath. This is in the shade Lady Stardust. Now it is more of a shimmery lipstick. I actually don't usually like shimmery lipsticks or lipsticks that have shimmer particles in them. Anything shimmery on my lips I like to come from my gloss, but you can't deny that this packaging is beautiful. And I do really like the shade of it, so we're gonna use this today. There we have it. Now we're gonna top it off with a little bit of my Fenty gloss in the shade Sweet Mouth. Last but not least, let's add a little bit of setting spray. I have my Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Glow setting spray. Where's my fan? To use my palette. Oh, please don't drop it. Please don't drop it. It would be tragic if I dropped this thing and I couldn't replace it. And that's it, you guys. This is the finished makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Again, happy Valentine's Day to you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know what you thought about any of the makeup that I tried today. Have you tried any of these? Are they some of your favorites as well? What are you guys eager to use on Valentine's Day? Or maybe if Valentine's Day is not your thing, what is your favorite high-end makeup product? I'd love to hear down in the comments below. Thank you guys again. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love to remind you one more time to do that before you leave. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys again. I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye. Oh, it always kills me when I talk and I'm doing my makeup on my neck.